AEW Dynamite in Atlanta, Georgia. And it was damn good, much like last week. Let's get into it. This is All Elite Review. What is happening, ladies and germs? This is the PackerMan, and welcome to today's edition of All Elite Review, where today we are going to be reviewing the show from February the 12th, 2000, or February 19th, 2020, excuse me, in Atlanta, Georgia. Big show in this case. It had the first ever steel cage match, plus a tag team title match that was off the chains crazy. The last couple of weeks, in fact, I would say the entire month of February so far has been absolute killer as far as All Elite Wrestling is concerned. Just great shows all around. But before we get into all that, real quick, AEW Dark results from the previous week in Austin, Texas. Number 3, Chris Statlander defeated Diamante. The Best Friends defeated TH2, Big Swole defeated Christy James, and number 2 Young Bucks defeat Peter Avalon and QT Marshall. And that's the AEW Dark results. Wednesday Night War. AEW comes out on top once again, but only marginally this time. They had 893,000 viewers compared to NXT's 794,000, but nonetheless AEW has another ratings win that brings the score to 15-3-1 overall. But it seems like NXT is starting to gain a little bit of momentum, but AEW is also up a little bit this week as well, so there's that. But when it comes to the quality of their shows, they've been top fucking notch. So let's go ahead and just jump right into this and get this over with. The first match was a tag team battle royal to determine the number 1 contenders for the titles at Revolution. And it had the added stipulation that both members had to be eliminated in order for that team to be officially eliminated from the battle royal, unlike what WWE does, where if one member gets eliminated, both members are eliminated, which was fucking stupid. But highlights of this match, SCU crossbodies into everyone. Jack Evans tries to hit a somersault onto everyone, but he gets caught and tossed out. Private Party hits Silly String on T-Hawk and eliminates him. Scorpio Sky with a nice flatliner. Kazarian with a 3-hit combo. And then SCU gets eliminated by the Beaver Boys after they're distracted by the Dark Order at ringside, which apparently had a... If you looked off... I think it was to the right a little bit of when Scorpio Sky started attacking Stu Grayson. There was actually a cameo appearance by Raven. Yeah, the same guy from ECW, WCW, Quoth the Raven, Nevermore, Even Flow DET, that sort of shit. He was apparently just sitting there, just watching the action, and a lot of people were wondering, is he the leader of the Dark Order? I doubt it. I think it's a red herring, but we'll have to wait and see. But the Beaver Boys eliminated SCU, but then they got eliminated by the Young Bucks with Super Kick Party. Shima with an iconoclasm on Trent, which looked nice. Luchasaurus with a pump kick on Shima to get him eliminated. Jungle Express with a tail whip half Nelson flatliner, which looked really nice. Nick Jackson starts going nuts with all the martial arts. on everybody, but then he gets eliminated by the Butcher, which left just Matt Jackson in for the Young Bucks. Luchasaurus and the Butcher start going toe-to-toe with each other, just landing big hits. The last bit was Luchasaurus hitting the tail whip, but then the Butcher spun around and hit him with a lariat as he was going down. Didn't really hit him cleanly with it, but it still looked pretty good. Private Party and Jungle Express get eliminated by Proud and Powerful and the Butcher and the Blade. Best Friends double team Proud and Powerful, but Chuck Taylor gets eliminated in the process. Trent gets saved from elimination by Orange Cassidy. Blade gets eliminated by Trent and Mac Jackson, who I think do like the hug spot since both of their partners were eliminated. Butcher eliminates Trent from the apron. They both go over the top rope, and Trent gets eliminated from the apron. Orange Cassidy was there to quote-unquote catch him, but gets kicked in the balls by the bunny. But then Matt Jackson spears Butcher off of the apron, which eliminates the Butcher because he had gone over the top rope onto the apron. However, Matt Jackson was still in because he went through the top and middle rope, so not over. So the Butcher was eliminated, but Matt Jackson was still in. That meant that it was Matt Jackson against Proud and Powerful. Of course, Sammy Guevara at ringside was getting involved a little bit. Proud and Powerful hit the Street Sweeper on Matt and tried to eliminate him, but wasn't able to do so. Matt Jackson tries to throw Ortiz over the top rope after Ortiz did the Tiger Style. But Ortiz hangs on. Santana tries to go after Matt and nearly hits Ortiz. And then Matt Jackson starts bringing out the super kicks. Hits Ortiz with one, which knocks him off the apron into the floor, eliminating him. Santana gets hit with a super kick. And then, oh my God, Sammy Guevara jumps in and tries to interfere, but absolutely eats shit with a Matt Jackson super kick.
Welcome to the party. Oh my God! Thanks for coming, Sammy.
And that clip you just saw was courtesy of the internet, combining Johnny Cage's X-ray move. It just looks so good, and it perfectly encapsulates what that super kick must have felt like. If it would have connected in slow-mo, it didn't look like he actually ate it, but he sold it like a champ. I mean, it looked like he got fucking destroyed. Like, that was the best spot of the match, honestly, because that, oh my God, I was like, oh shit, because it looked like he absolutely ate shit on that super kick. That was nice. And then Matt eliminates Santana with a lariat, knocking him out of the ring, and the Young Bucks win the tag team battle royal, although it might have been a little bit predictable. But I mean, predictability sometimes is not a bad thing, especially when, you know, it advances a storyline that, you know, we're expecting to happen, you know what I mean? But yeah, that super kick, fuck. I mean, I'm honestly surprised that he didn't lose teeth on that one. I mean, honestly, I think he got extremely lucky there that he folded backwards right at the last instant and didn't completely take that super kick for realsies, because that would have hurt. But yeah, in terms of battle royals, this was actually a pretty fun battle royal. I must admit, sometimes, you know, a lot of times these battle royals can be total clusterfucks, but in this case, once you started whittling it down to, you know, the guys that you would expect to be battling for it, and it ended up being, you know, a really fun battle royal. And once again, that spot with the super kick with Guevara, damn. I gave this match 3.75 stars out of 5. Next match was a women's match. Certainly these two were not going to match what Riho and Nyla Rose pulled off, but this was still a solid match nonetheless. It was Shanna versus number 2 Chris Statlander. Of course, had gotten a victory on AEW Dark the previous week, and that moved her up to number 2 in the rankings. in their rankings. And I think with this match, it moved her into a tie for second in my rankings, with Dr. Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida. So there's that. But the highlights of this match, Chris Statlander, they were doing like all sort. They were doing like the arm wrenches and shit. Shanna does some acrobatics to get out of one. Chris Statlander does the same. Starts doing the cartwheeling all over the place. Finishes up with a head scissors takedown and then a boop. I mean, I'm gonna be the first one to admit the booping thing is a little bit silly. I will admit. But once these two started going at it, like for real, like really starting getting serious with the movesets they were doing, this was actually a pretty damn good match overall. Statlander hit a 3-hit combo, got a 2 count. Shanna with a kitchen sink starts hitting buzzsaw kicks, and then a Yakuza kick for a 2 count. Then hits a lariat for a 2 count. Puts Statlander in a dragon sleeper. But Chris gets out of it, hits a roundhouse kick, and then a running uppercut, a knee strike, and then a blue thunder bomb for a 2 count, which looked really nice. Shanna with the rope hanging coup de grace, which admittedly it does a little. I mean, you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, but even then, that looks like a really dangerous spot. I mean, if done wrong, I mean that could easily snap a neck if you fall the wrong way. But it still looked nice. Shanna with a nice satellite DDT for a 2 count. Just absolutely fucking spiked Statlander. Shanna hits a hesitation drop kick for a 2 count. Tries to go for the Dragon Suplex clutch. Dragon Suplex with the bridge. But Chris counters out of it by looking like she was going to go for a stunner, but it kind of hits a snap mirror into the knee, and then just muscles Shanna up into the Big Bang Theory. The Cradle Tombstone Pile Driver for the 3 count and the victory. And I gave this match 3.5 stars out of 5. Pretty good match. So the women's matches are definitely starting to improve quite a bit. Like I said, this match was not going to match what Nyla Rose and Riho pulled off a week or two ago with that AEW Championship match. But this was still solid nonetheless. Speaking of Nyla Rose, she comes out for an interview with Tony Schiavone and just starts spitting all kinds of fire, saying like, if the beast gets hungry, I start breaking bitches. I think she's, after, I think the whole thing, with the controversy of her winning the championship being that she is transgender, and after I think the Val Venus comments, which made him look like a fucking toolbox. I think she incorporated a little bit of that into this promo, saying that she is going to be a one-time champion because nobody's going to be able to take this belt off of me, which I thought was a really good line, because that instills like, this person's got a lot of confidence in their abilities. And then Chris Statlander comes out. Of course, she had just won her previous match. Looks like she's going to boop Nyla Rose, but then points at the championship, indicating, you got some competition, Nyla. And then Big Swole comes out and gets in Nyla's face like, oh, you think you're powerful? Check out these guns, brother. You know what I mean? So, women's division is starting to put together some storylines as far as, the championship is concerned. You certainly have Big Swole in there. Chris Statlander, of course, is the number 2 ranked wrestler. But I think for the next championship match, which I think will be at Revolution, I think we will see a rematch between Riho and Nyla Rose, because Riho is, since she is the former champion, she does get, the first shot, I think. At least that's how they did it with the tag team titles. SU got their rematch against Kenny Omega and Adam Page. So I think Riho will probably be getting the same thing. Next match, singles match. Jon Moxley against Jeff Cobb in his AEW debut. In another solid match here. Jericho and the Inner Circle come to ringside seats because they have tickets similar to what they did a couple months ago when Jericho was feuding with Cody Rhodes. Highlights of this match. Cobb starts out with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex, made it look effortless. Cobb hits a nice drop kick, John Moxley with a pescado. Cobb hits a back elbow and knocks Moxley onto the guardrail. Go to commercial break. Moxley starts working on Jeff Cobb's knee, hitting a knee breaker, and then just basically wrapping his leg around the post, trying to try to affect his vertical base, which in storyline is the smart thing to do in this case. Moxley hits a drop kick to the knee, and then he starts focusing on the leg, and then Jeff Cobb hits a beautiful looking sidewinder suplex. That looked really nice. Moxley counters with a German suplex. Cobb was going to go for a German suplex. Excuse me. But counters it into a heel hook. Cobb with another belly-to-belly suplex. Moxley was going for a double axe handle smash. But Cobb counters it by catching him and hits him with another belly-to-belly on the outside this time. Then he hits an Oklahoma Stampede for a 2 count. Moxley starts hitting running knee strikes. And then Cobb with a snap German suplex, but Moxley rolls through into a nice lariat. I mean, these two were just going hard hitting, shit right from the get-go. Cobb hits a nice super kick, and then both trade lariats. Cobb hits a running uppercut, and then Cobb hits a superplex, but then Moxley counters by countering it into kind of like an inside cradle for a surprise 3 count and the victory. So Moxley remains unbeaten in singles competition. After the match, the Inner Circle, of course, attacks Moxley. Dustin Rhodes comes out to try to assist, but the numbers overwhelm him, and then the lights go out. And it's like, what the heck's going on here? And then Darby Allin's music hits, and the crowd just absolutely fucking goes nuts. So, yeah, AEW not making their own stars? Yeah, based on that pop that Allen received and the chant that he was getting, I would say he's pretty fucking over with the crowd. Cody, might be time to bring that secondary title in sooner rather than later. Because we need one badly, and for guys like this. Because you have so many choices to give, a new secondary title to. You know what I mean? And Darby Allin, I think, would fit the bill in that case. Or a guy like Jeff Cobb, would fit the bill for a secondary champion. You know what I mean? I think it's about that time. I mean, I know you're thinking about, you're planning on bringing in, trios championships, but, we need more singles titles. At least one more singles title at the very least. For guys like this, who need that stepping stone, because not everybody can challenge for the world title. It's just unrealistic. So that's why you have secondary championships, as a stepping stone to get to the main event scene. You know what I mean? So, Darby Allin, of course, returning from the skateboard attack from the Inner Circle, in particular Sammy Guevara, and he starts attacking everyone with the skateboard. Cobb tries to intervene with a German suplex, but Darby Allin effortlessly backflips over him, hits him in the gut with the skateboard, and Moxley hits the paradigm shift on Cobb. Allin goes out of the ring and throws Sammy Guevara into the steel stairs, and that left Jericho and Moxley all alone in the ring, and they just start waylaying on each other in the center of the ring. Afterwards, Jericho bails from the ring. So, they're really building this up nicely for Revolution. And considering the fact that Jericho has not lost in a singles match and Moxley has not lost in a singles match, there's no way of knowing who's going to win this fucking match at Revolution. There's no way of knowing. And that unpredictability factor is what's been missing in professional wrestling for a while now. And then Allin afterwards starts mocking Guevara's cue cards and the picture-in-picture. That was pretty funny. I gave this match 3.75 stars out of 5. Oh, as if the hits didn't keep on coming. AEW World Tag Team Championship match. The number 5 Lucha Brothers take on Kenny Omega and Adam Page. Now you might be asking yourselves, why the hell is the Lucha Brothers getting a tag team title match when they're only ranked at number 5? Well, the answer is simple. If you've been watching AEW Dynamite over the past month or two, who has been the only team to lay pinfall losses on Kenny Omega and Adam Page since the two of them got together as a tag team? The Lucha Brothers. On 2 occasions. One in a regular tag team match, and then again in an 8-man tag team match when they teamed with the Elite. So, if anything, the Lucha Brothers, yeah, they deserve to have a tag team title match in this case. I mean, we all knew who was going to win, obviously. But that didn't really matter in the end. Sometimes knowing who's going to win isn't the biggest thing. What really matters is the story, the journey that they tell. And I'm going to tell you something right now. This match kicked all manners of ass. So, highlights of this match. And there were a lot. Page starts out with a big boot on Phoenix. The Omega Cowboys hit a boot, Katara Crusher counter on combo on Phoenix for a 2 count. Omega hits his pendulum backbreaker on Phoenix for a 2 count. And Page with a nice pump handle fallaway slam on Phoenix for a 2 count. And then the Omega Cowboys hit their Singapore roll shooting star press moonsault combo for 2 on Phoenix. Phoenix hits a super kick on Omega. The Lucha Brothers start doing chops on both members of the Omega Cowboys. The Lucha Brothers hit an assisted Frankensteiner on Page and then an assisted Cannonball on Omega. Phoenix puts a sleeper hold on Omega. And then they do basically a tag team move where Pentagon does a missile drop kick to the ass on Kenny Omega. And then he hits another super kick on Omega. We get a commercial break. Pentagon starts hitting thigh kicks on Omega. Omega blocks Phoenix's rolling splash and hits a tornado DDT on Pentagon, which looked really nice. Page gets the hot tag, hits a Yakuza kick, a fallaway slam, a pescado, and a sliding lariat on both of the Lucha Brothers for a 2 count. Pentagon hits super kicks on both members of the Omega Cowboys, but then they come back with a rolling elbow, tossing German suplex combo that they've perfected. They try to do the same thing to Phoenix, but Phoenix spins in the air and hits kind of like a tornado cutter on Page, which looked really nice. And he waited until the last moment to grab Page in the cutter, and I was like, damn, that is pinpoint timing right there. And then while Page was on all fours, Pentagon jumps off his back and hits a destroyer on Omega. And Omega sold that one like a fucking champ. I was like, god damn. Omega and Pentagon start trading shots on the apron. And then Pentagon hits a Gamangiri. Omega hits a V-trigger. Phoenix hits a rope walk kick. And then Omega counters Pentagon's Zero Fear package power driver on the apron with a back body drop. Phoenix steps up the ropes and hits a Frankensteiner on Omega to the outside. And then Page comes in with an Arihara moonsault to the outside on the Lucha Brothers. And I'm just like, what the fuck are these guys thinking? And then Page hits a discus lariat on Pentagon for a 2 count. Pentagon hits a nice sling blade. Phoenix with a missile drop kick. Pentagon with a super kick, but Page comes back with a pop-up powerbomb. Omega with a nice running knee strike. Phoenix hits a drop kick, ducks the buckshot lariat. Attempt which Page went into Omega on that, so a bit of a miscommunication there. Then Phoenix hits a super kick on Omega, and then a tornado onto Page on the outside, and that's when Pentagon hits his pump handle driver or the Penta driver, but only gets a 2 count on Omega. And then the Lucha Brothers try to set up for their Zero Fear finisher, where they do the package power driver double stomp combo. But Omega counters with a Snapdragon suplex. And then Phoenix tries to come off the top with another tornado, but eats that fucking V-trigger right to the face. Hits the Tiger Driver 98 on Phoenix for a 2 count. Phoenix misses the Tiger Feint Roundhouse, and then the Omega Cowboys come out with their Buckshot Trigger, basically the Buckshot Lariat V-trigger combo, for the 3 count and the victory. Afterwards, the Young Bucks come out to check on Omega. And Paige doesn't really like that, considering the fact that the two are going to be butting heads at Revolution. And he basically goes out and gets a drink from the crowd, as per the usual. But yeah, this was one hell of an awesome match. So awesome, in fact, that it gets the full 5 stars out of 5. And I've been keeping track. This is the 13th match that has been given the 5-star rating for. So, in AEW's history, as far as I'm concerned. This is the 13th time that I've given a 5-star rating to an AEW match. So, good job. Good job, All Elite Wrestling. You're doing a really good job. And I have a feeling number 14 will be coming next week with that Iron Man match between Pac and Omega. That's going to be fucking awesome. And then we get to our main event. As if that wasn't enough, then we get to our main event of the evening, which was the cage match. The first ever steel cage match in AEW history between Cody and Wardlow. And on a graphic, when Cody came out to the ring, they usually do like the graphic with his name and his record and stuff, and they usually have a little blurb across the top, and it actually did say that he had to win this match to face MJF at Revolution. So it's like, okay, we got confirmation there finally. But highlights of this match, and of course this was the debut match for Wardlow as well in AEW. Of course we saw Jeff Cobb debut as well. Cody hits a nice high kick, but it doesn't even phase Wardlow, so it's kind of like, yeah, Wardlow is going to be one of those guys that's going to be able to take a lot of punishment. Cody hits the layout uppercut and a disaster kick. Didn't even take Wardlow off his feet. And Wardlow hits a nice lariat that turns Cody inside out. Wardlow sends Cody into the cage, which busts Cody open. Probably bladed a little bit on the top of his head and started bleeding like crazy. He was wearing the proverbial crimson mask right at the beginning of this match. Wardlow hits a running powerbomb into the cage and then a big boot. And then there was a point in the match where Cody was hanging upside down, and they have it to where the cage is just barely a little bit away from the edge of the ring. So he was kind of hanging upside down, and then he was kind of placed between the ring and the cage. And Wardlow starts muscling the cage into him because it wasn't attached to the ground. So he was able to muscle the cage into him. That was a pretty damn interesting spot, and I'd certainly never seen something like that before. So points for originality on that one. And Wardlow starts hitting him with launching suplexes, basically going for a suplex and then just tossing him, you know. And then Cody counters with one of his own, because Wardlow is going for another one, but then Cody counters and hits a stalling suplex, the first one, then drops him into a front suplex. Hits the Cody cutter, which looked really nice, and then a 10 punch, but then Wardlow hits a mule kick right to the balls, and then he hits his F10, which is basically his version of the F5, they just call it the F10. But then Wardlow throws Cody into the door, which throws it open. And MJF starts taunting Arn Anderson, who's also at ringside. Basically, yeah, go ahead, Arn. Smash the door into his face like you did his old man. And for a split second, it looked like Arn was going to do it, and then he smashed the door into MJF's face, which is pretty funny. Cody starts hitting some lariats on Wardlow, and then a snap power slam for a 2 count. Wardlow hits him with a gorilla press slam into the cage, and then a swanton bomb, which looked really nice. I mean, for a big guy like that to hit a move like that is pretty impressive, but only got a 2 count. MJF slips the Dynamite Diamond into Wardlow, but then Cody hits him with his own low blow and takes the ring from Wardlow, which MJF did not like at all. He took off his jacket and was going to try to climb into the ring. Brandy, who was also ringside, grabbed a chair and smacked MJF in the back with it a couple of times. He got in her face. And then Arn Anderson came over and threw him over the fucking guardrail, and the look on his face was like, oh shit, I fucked up. And then Cody hits the crossroads, but only gets a 2 count. And here was the fucking moment of the match. He suddenly gazes upward at the top of the cage, takes off his weight belt and starts climbing up to the cage like a spider monkey. Gets up to the top, and does a fucking moonsault off the top of the cage, which actually resulted in him having, I think, like a fractured toe or something like that from the fall. 20-foot fall from the top of the cage. But I mean, he did that moonsault without even looking to see where Wardlow was. I mean, that's a lot of trust he was putting into Wardlow right there. So, pretty fucking crazy to say the least, but it looked good. Basically indicating that, yeah, he had to go all the way up to the top of the cage and hit a moonsault to get the 3 count for the victory. And now we have MJF versus Cody at Revolution. And like I said before, I think they should do the DQ finish where MJF kicks Cody in the balls right in front of the referee. And I think that would be perfect to get some absolute fucking nuclear heat on the MJF. Because like I said before, I don't think this is a program that should end at Revolution. This is the type of program that you would end at your marquee event, which would be Double or Nothing in this case. So I would imagine that, I mean, if I was a betting man, I would say they would do the first ever DQ finish in AEW history with MJF versus Cody. I think that would be the way to go, and it would come out of left field and piss a lot of people off and be like, "Wow, MJF, you're gonna go that route, really?" So I think that would be the perfect way to do it, but that's just me. I don't know if that's what they have in mind, but I'm gonna put that out there right now, and we'll see what happens. Because Revolution's not that far away. But I gave this match 4.5 stars out of 5. Another damn fine match. But as for my final rating for this show, yeah, another fucking great show. Past couple shows, the last 3 shows, honestly, have been awesome sauce. This entire month of February has kicked ass. So, my final rating for the show, 9.25 out of 10. Same score as last week. So, but, I mean, what else can I say? These shows have been fucking entertaining. You know, it's like, these are the type of shows that really got me in, really get me into, like, really liking professional wrestling again. You know what I mean? I mean, the end of 2019 was admittedly not that good. I mean, that last show was not really well received. But they've been putting on some damn fine shows here in 2020, to say the least. But that's going to do it for this week on All Elite Review. Thank you very much for watching. Here are my personalized rankings for this week. And until next time, this is the PackerMan signing out. Bye. You better like and subscribe or face the consequences. You have been warned.